Hello everybody, today I'm doing a video about the differences between Prescott Valley area and Verde Valley, Sedona area in northern Arizona. So if you've ever wondered what is the difference between living in Prescott, Arizona, say, versus Cottonwood or Cornville, stay tuned because I'm going to tell you about the differences. I'm going to do kind of an old school comparison and contrast of the two areas in northern Arizona, which are similar and close but divided by a mountain range, and that would be Prescott Valley versus Verde Valley, Arizona. So the channel is Living in Northern Arizona, where I'll teach you everything there is to know about living in the northern half of the beautiful state of Arizona. My name is Dawn Dickinson. I sell real estate in Sedona, Verde Valley, Prescott area, and Flagstaff area. So if you ever have a real estate question, feel free to go to the description below and find my phone number, my text email, and you can give me a call, email, text, and I will get back to you to talk about real estate. Okay, the first thing I want to tell you about is what are the towns I am talking about today. Well, we're going to start with Prescott Valley, and I'm going to talk about what they sometimes call the Quad Cities, which is Prescott Valley, Chino Valley, and Dewey Humboldt. So those are the towns when I talk about Prescott area. The other area would be the Verde Valley. So you would have Cottonwood, Clarkdale, Camp Verde, Cornville, and Rimrock, the 5 towns. So those are basically the geographic areas that I'm talking about when I say Prescott Valley, Verde Valley. So just know those are the towns. I'm going to throw up a map for you to take a look at so you'll know about what the difference. Basically, if you're going north, if you've flown into Phoenix, say, and are coming from Sky Harbor Airport, you're going north, and the first possible way to get to Prescott area is to exit on the State Route 69, and if you go a little bit further north, you can also get there by the State Route 169, or if you're coming down from Flagstaff or Sedona State, you would also take the 169, and then you would go west and you would get to Prescott Valley in those towns. Now, if you continue to go further, which would be past the Mingus Mountain Range, you would have State Route 260, and then if you go west, you would get to Cottonwood, Clarkdale, Cornville, Jerome even, and if you would go east, you would get to Camp Verde. Actually, Camp Verde is right there as you get off the highway at State Route 260. So basically, Verde Valley is a little bit north, and Prescott Valley is a little more east. No, Prescott Valley is a little more west, not quite as far north, but they are very close, only separated by that mountain range. Now realize that the Bradshaw Mountains are south of Prescott, and the Mingus Mountain Range are slightly north of Prescott, but yet south of Verde Valley. So you have that mountain range separating them and a little bit more geography, but the two areas as the crow flies are not that far apart, but because of that mountain range, you have to go around to get to each of the areas, so that makes it a little bit different. But I'm going to tell you about some of the other differences between the two areas. Okay, probably the biggest difference is, besides the slight geographical differences, is the population. So Prescott Valley has, and of course the other two, Dewey Humboldt, Chino Valley, has a population of just a little bit over 100,000 people, 100,000 residents. Now realize that Prescott and Prescott Valley themselves each have about 45,000 people, and then Chino Valley maybe another 10, 12, and so you have a very large population base between those cities. Now you go a little bit north to Verde Valley, and probably just the 5 Verde Valley towns, not including Sedona, probably puts you just above 40,000 residents. You want to include Sedona, you know, maybe another 55,000 tops for all of Verde Valley. So Prescott area, at least twice the population, probably closer to 3 times the population density as Verde Valley. And with the population differences, of course, you can have more stores, more jobs, more health care facilities, you know, hospitals, doctors, offices. You're going to have more schools. You'll have the Embry-Riddle private school, the aeronautical school has got an extremely reputable reputation. More public schools, more charter schools. So more schools, more population, more jobs, more nightlife for sure. And you have more events in Prescott Valley. You've got the big Findlay Toyota Center. You have the historic downtown square where you have a lot of events and things happening there. So you have a lot more events just because of the venue size. You got the Toyota Center and you have a huge event for concerts and stuff like that. So more going on because of the bigger population. Now geographically there are differences I'm going to get to later. Okay, I want to talk about the next big difference between Prescott Valley and Verde Valley is some people are very sensitive on how you pronounce the name of the town Prescott. Prescott Valley. Some people think you should be pronouncing it Prescott and Prescott Valley like biscuit if you don't say it the way they think you should be pronouncing it. So nobody cares how you say Cottonwood or Clarkdale or Rimrock, but if you say Prescott, and I'm going to tell you, one day, just about a month ago, my phone rings at 1:30 a.m. because somebody thought it was necessary after watching one of my videos to call and inform me that I'm not saying the town's name correctly. I said Prescott in the video, and it needs to be Prescott. You know, it's not like, Oregon, who cares how you say it? So important to some people that they think they need to call me at 1:30 a.m. And I know people say you should put your phone on Do Not Disturb all night, but there are two reasons that I don't do that. One is because my mother is in hospice. She's actually in very frail health. So when the phone rings at 1:30 in the morning, I'm thinking somebody is calling with that dreaded phone call that I actually am expecting but don't want to tell me my mother has passed away. And then the other possibility is I have an adult son with a disability who works night shift. If my phone rings at 1:30 a.m., I am going to be jolted out of bed. I wouldn't think people care about that, but just realize it's a big difference. Some people are going to get all upset if you don't pronounce the town the way you think you should. Okay, so next I want to tell you about the weather. Prescott is actually at 5,300-ish elevation. It's kind of towards the base of the Bradshaw Mountains, and then it starts to go down. You've got Prescott Valley about 5,100, Chino Valley maybe. So my point is, at about 5,000 foot above sea level, the weather is actually pretty nice and cool. And the low in the wintertime, overnight, January, probably the high 20s, and the high in the summertime when Phoenix is 110, 115, Prescott could be like 89, 90. So very nice climate, unless you're concerned about snow. Prescott does get some snow, maybe 13 inches of snow in a year and maybe about 16 inches of rain. So you do get some snow. You don't get huge amounts of snow, but you will get some snow, and it will get cold in the wintertime. And you're at 5,000 foot elevation, so you could have a little bit of altitude, the thin air breathing type problem if that bothers you. So just know that. Now in Verde Valley, Cottonwood, Cornville, they're about 3,300 foot above sea level. So again, it's cooler than Phoenix, but not quite as cool as Prescott. In the summer, you probably are getting low 100s for temperatures, and in the winter, the low in January might be like 32 degrees. And you will get maybe 14 inches of rain in Verde Valley, and you will get a little bit of snow, only a few inches now. Go to Sedona, the neighboring town, the elevation has climbed quite a bit. In Village of Oak Creek, where I live, it's about 4,000 above sea level, and in Sedona, Uptown, or West Sedona, it's about 4,500. So again, be a little cooler, a little more snow in Sedona, maybe 11 inches of snow, just being maybe 30 minutes away from Verde Valley. So just keep that in mind. You've got those differences in the weather and the climate, and that's all because of the elevation, and still way cooler than Phoenix, but yet not as drastic of a winter like we had in Flagstaff this year, where they had almost record snowfall. So Flagstaff again at 7,000 foot elevation, Prescott Valley just over 5,000, and Verde Valley just over 3,000 elevation. That'll be the differences in the weather. Okay, so I'm going to tell you about some of the physical or geographical differences that you'll find between Prescott and Verde Valley. Prescott, of course, itself will be nestled towards the base of Bradshaw Mountains, so some of the homes in there actually will be in the pines. Prescott itself has the beautiful historic district, but then as you're driving a little way away from town, Prescott Valley, you're going to go down a little bit in elevation, and same thing at Chino Valley. So geographically, it's a little spread out, and you'll have stuff like the beautiful Victorian homes. You've got a bunch of those beautiful homes in Prescott that you don't see everywhere. You've got the Watson Lake, you've got the Granite Dells, you have Mortimer Farms. There's a lot of stuff to do. You'll have the Bradshaw Mountains, so if you like to go camping, it doesn't take much to get to, big Ponderosa Pines. Lots of neat geographical stuff in Prescott area that makes the area very unique. But now if you go to Verde Valley, you have other stuff. So kind of just is depending on what you're into. You've got Sedona very close to Verde Valley. You've got Jerome very close to Verde Valley. Again, you've got Bradshaw Mountains. You've got the Mingus Mountain Range. You've got a lot of outdoor stuff to do. You've got like Tuzagut National Monument. If you go over towards Rimrock, you've got Montezuma Well or Montezuma Castle. You've got the Tuzagut Park. I might have said that. You've got Fort Verde, which is a really cool historic area. That's in Camp Verde. You have Clarkdale Railroad, so all sorts of neat geographical stuff in Verde Valley. You got the Verde River, of course, that is a big river, but you have a lot of people that are into the kayaking and just hanging out at the river, so you've got those two differences. So very unique, both of them, and just separated by the mountain range. A lot of people will be moving to Arizona and they won't be sure if they want to go to Verde Valley or Prescott Valley, and because I sell in both, I can actually help you in both. I can kind of tell you the differences between the two of them, and I subscribe to both Association of Realtors, so I have access to both the MLSs. So if you're interested in knowing more about the housing market between the two areas, certainly reach out to me and I'd be happy to talk to you. Now, the last thing I want to talk to you when we're talking about houses is I'm going to give you a little bit of information on the housing market. So we talked about how much larger in population Prescott area is, and in mid-April 2023, there were about 750 active homes on the Prescott Association of Realtor listing service. Now, you're going to have some outliers in there because you have out-of-area lawyers, realtors listing, and the same thing with the Sedona Verde Valley Association of Realtors. So Sedona Verde Valley had about 192 active listings as of now, which is mid-April 2022. That was mostly the difference, is the just sheer number. You got about 4 times as many homes to choose from in the Prescott MLS as you do in the Sedona Verde Valley MLS. But when you talk about the average list price and the median list price, both of them were in the high 400s, like $490,000 would be your median list price of the active homes on both MLSs, and then the average, if you prefer to look at average, very low 500, like 515,000 being the average list price. Now, I could go all day and talk to you about actual numbers. I did do a market update a couple of weeks ago that talked about the number of homes and the prices sold. If you were interested in knowing more about the housing market, I would encourage you to go to that video. But just for today, I want to give you the idea of the average sales price and the number of homes between Prescott area, Prescott Valley, Dewey Humboldt, and Chino Valley, and then of course we got the Verde Valley area, which is Cottonwood, Clarkdale, Camp Verde, Rimrock. So that's it. I hope you enjoyed the video. Basically, the main differences between Verde Valley and Prescott Valley. My name's Dawn Dickinson. I sell real estate in Sedona, Verde Valley, Prescott area, and Flagstaff area. So if you ever have a question, want to talk about real estate, feel free to give me a call, text, email, and I'll get back to you. And the channel Living in Northern Arizona, I post videos on topics pertaining to the Northern Arizona cities every single week. So if you like the video, please give me a thumbs up. Please subscribe, and I hope to see you back here again next week.